Hello everyone and welcome to F1 Manager 23 Canadian Grand Prix for Season 2. This is the race that we have to turn around some big points after a disappointing Spain. If you haven't watched it, make sure to go watch it. If you want to watch this live, you can on Twitch, Mega Gamer 8888 on Twitch. As we are basically not sandbagging in practice, but I just haven't got strong engines, so there's no point pushing on weak engines just because it doesn't mean anything. And there was a red flag in FP3, which I think lost us about 20 minutes. Which, when we're struggling for setups, like we were at this point with the bad engines and all that, when you're struggling for setups, you don't want a 20-minute loss of track time. It was bad. Yep, time until session restarts 20 minutes. See, look, 88% setup and 92, so not bad, but just not top of the performance. And FP3 again, we finished 18th and 19th. We're just sandbagging. We're waiting for qualifying where we'll show our true pace. And on that topic, make sure to like and subscribe, as Hamilton's only got medium confidence, and I'll see you in quali.
Welcome everyone to qualifying. This should be a good one.
The circuit Gilles Villeneuve isn't a permanent track, so circuit evolution is high over the Grand Prix weekend. Overtaking is possible, but getting a well-timed lap in qualifying will help any driver.
Karun, if we could perhaps talk about Lewis for a moment. How do you think he's feeling?
The main thing on my mind was their speed in practice. They just weren't that fast. But was that down to the driver, the car, the team experimenting? We don't know, and we'll just have to see how they fare in qualifying.
Stay with us as we see who can deliver on motorsport's biggest stage.
So the first thing I'm going to do before Q1 is emergency manufacture 2 of the new rear wings for both of the cars, and change the engines, of course, because I'm worried that if we had the same spec car of Spain, it would be even worse. Although I've got a theory, and I'm pretty sure that the bad Spain pace was A, because of my poor strategy, and B, because of the car does not like wet weather. Anyway, Hamilton and Russell, I didn't catch the difference in the sector times. Although in the second sector, Hamilton does a 21.873, George does 21.876, so 3,000th in the second sector. As George has had to lift off a bit there, but that should be fine. That should allow us to progress into Q2. Lewis P2, George P7. Yeah, nice. That was really good. And at the end of Q1, we're both through, and it's 4th and 7th. So not bad at all. I was starting in Q2, trying to do the one and done technique, just like in Q1. George held up Kevin a little bit, but he was starting a new lap, so I can kind of understand it, but shouldn't really be doing that. Through the down towards the bottom of the track into the right-left chicane, where we saw George Russell make a mistake in real life in the past 2 years. Hopefully he doesn't do that today. 21.824, 21.862, so I think Russell has the better lap time of the two, or at least he does in sector 2. Up to the line, George does up to the line, P5, Lewis goes P6. Yeah, that's alright, just get through. And it ends up being P5 and P6. Onwards to Q3. We need to outscore Ferrari this race. On the scrub set of tyres, going on to a lap in Q3. Just making sure Lewis with the purple sector, George with the green sector. This car does have pace if we can extract it and find the performance within the grip of the tyres and the car itself. The new rear wing upgrade is certainly helping. I can't believe we're 9 races into a season and we're on spec 4 of a car part, but hey ho. Upgrades quickly. Up to the line George goes. 1/10 clear of Lewis. And on to the second flying lap on fresh tyres. Lewis is a bit further away from George, so he's not going to get as much for slipstream. George is green, Lewis is yellow, that's not great. George won't have a toe in both of his laps, so George definitely needs to improve. As there's a lap car on the way, they get out of the way of both of them. George is yellow, maybe because of the lap car, maybe because he just lacks pace. Bit of a slipstream there from the lap car. As coming through the final corner and up to the line. What's it going to be for George?
That's currently
Doesn't improve. Lewis doesn't improve either. Perez can't beat us, as Leclerc does improve. Verstappen's on the in lap. Only people left on flying laps are Norris, Alonso and Gasly. So Gasly will now come through to the chicane. Down to the wall of champions. Ocon can't beat Lewis. Through the right, through the left, up to the line. What's it going to be for Pierre Gasly? Up to the line goes Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll have extended their contracts today in real life. Gasly I can agree with because he's, in my opinion, Alpine's better driver of the two. But Stroll? Nah. Norris goes up to 7th. Alonso stays 9th. So we are P2, George's highest quality position of the year, and P5. That is a good place where we can work our way forward in the Grand Prix.
Tension continues to build here as race day begins.
Named after the legendary Canadian driver, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve has been host to plenty of first-time winners. Jean Alesi, Lewis Hamilton, Robert Kubica and Daniel Ricciardo all got their maiden victories here. And the weather today is sunny. These are ideal conditions for the drivers to shine.
And each team will be hoping that fortune is on their side. So bon chance to them and their drivers for this Canadian Grand Prix.
In terms of the strategy, Lewis is doing a medium, soft. George is doing a soft, medium. Goal is to keep George pushing in the second and third stint and have him clear by the end of the first. And Lewis is just going to go balls to the walls in the final stint.
And it's lights out and away we go.
Make sure they're both on high overtake aggression. Although Lewis, I'm going to go medium because he's on the medium, so it's no fuss if we lose a place or two. And Lewis has lost a place to Pierre Gasly. Nearly lost a place to Esteban Ocon as George has lost a place to Sergio Perez. And on lap 3 he's going to go past Charles Leclerc because Charles doesn't have DRS. He's going to take the lead on lap 5 as Lewis is just waiting for this Alpine to get in a good place as George now goes ahead of Perez.
Here we are going into turn 9. The gap opens up for them. And George Russell says thank you very much.
Swoops round the inside, what a move that was. And does it again through 5 and 6, I think that is. As Charles gets back past him on lap 8, through to turn 1. And George, through the final chicane, comes past him again. As I'm trying to get Lewis to cool his tyres down while staying with the Alpine. As Charles goes for it through the chicane and George didn't turn in like he did on Oscar Piastri in the Canadian Grand Prix. And then George takes the lead again on lap 11 through the chicane. As Lewis has now got his tyres cooled down. And that Alpine is on softs, is not losing DRS anytime soon. But a good thing is George isn't overheating his tyres. He's keeping them warm, he's keeping them fresh. I'll say that, they've now gone into the yellow temp region. As Charles now goes past Max. Charles goes past Russell anyway. As Lewis gets the Alpine, as the Alpine dropped out of DRS.
Hard at this point. And the contact between the...
Ooh, that's not what you want. Did they both get penalties? I think they both got penalties. Or no, Joe got one from the start. Russell is coming in this lap or next lap, so we're going to push him because Perez has decided to make a run for it, and on lap 21 George comes in from that soft compounded tyre to the medium compounded tyre. We need a decent stop here in order to keep in the lead fight. Off on release 2.8, that is a mega stop compared to what we used to. We're the only team to have not made a mistake on the pit stops. We might be the only team to have not made a mistake on the pit stops all season. As now George comes out in 13th. Lewis now goes for a dive bomb on Charles Leclerc and then just lets him past and gives him a second as Lewis comes into the pits on lap 25, and I make sure to save it because I've gone for the undercut here. Quite an aggressive undercut as George is now going past Albon.
Now this was
And Sainz is by Hamilton. Well, Sainz been in a collision. Fighting the Alpine of Gasly.
Just unable to do much about it.
Ooh, he's locked up massively there, and he's not going to come back on until that whole train passes. As George darts to the outside of someone. Ah, what's happened here? What's happened here? Max spins, and it's Red Bull Civil War. Red Bull Civil War have started. Max and Perez have hit each other. That is so good for us, it's unreal. As Lewis is now going for Carlos Sainz, and George is on the back of Stroll. As Lewis has got Carlos, George has now got Lance, and Carlos is going to pass Lewis because apparently 50% mediums can compete with 95% mediums. But hey ho. As George and goes for a move on Alonso. Lewis gets Sainz again. I'm going to try and make him break away, which I do. And Russell gets, Lewis gets Albon. Russell gets Ocon. Then a couple of laps later, or maybe even a lap later, Russell goes up in third, overtakes Verstappen, and he's only 6 seconds off with an extra pit stop at the moment of Charles Leclerc as Lewis goes past Magnussen. Lewis is ahead of both Red Bulls. So we're net 1-2 right now as Lewis goes on Magnussen, then Alonso, then Norris, then Ocon. This is just the Lewis Hamilton episode. As we're now at the halfway stage of the Grand Prix, and George has overtaken Leclerc.
That's the location for this one.
George has made up a pit stop and overtaken Leclerc.
And George Russell says thank you very much.
This is where I started to believe a win was possible. But on lap 38, Charles goes for the softs. He's going to have to make them do 32 laps. That is not going to be comfortable. Or 22 laps rather. No, 32 laps. Ouch. I was looking to see if I could pit Hamilton any earlier, or to see if Charles's tyres would last, and they would, but only just. Yeah. I'm not changing Lewis's strategy to compete with Charles. As George comes in the end of lap 35, I was considering going soft like Charles, but I reckon pushing on new mediums is faster, so off on release 3.1, that is definitely not great. We're currently 9th in the Pit Stop Championship, or the DHL Fast Pit Stop Award rather, as Lewis has cleared Max by 7 seconds. And George comes out 2 seconds behind Leclerc. Okay, 3. And George and Leclerc start fighting. Max and Leclerc start fighting. Max gets DRS, dives down inside, makes the move as Lewis's optimal pit stop lap. So he'll be going into the set softs on lap 50. Max gets past Leclerc, Lewis comes in. Leclerc is now past Max and almost got the DRS gap on him. Lewis comes in. Old tyres off, soft tyres on. This is the stint that matters for him. It's a 2.8 stop. Much quicker than George's stop on this. And it actually puts us up a place in the Pit Stop Championship. We're now up to 10th. Because we did lose it after Smothers pit. As George now goes around the outside of Max. And a lap later, with 15 laps to go, 16 laps to go rather, He overtakes Leclerc, and with 10 laps to go, Lewis is now on Leclerc. George is 5.4 ahead. This 1-2
We're with Lewis
is
Hamilton
on
here.
if we can make it work.
There's the opening.
This car with the new rear wing has showed immaculate amount of pace.
And Lewis says, thank you very much.
There's Lewis past Leclerc. But Leclerc's going to come back with 8 laps to go. There's just nothing Lewis can really do. Apart from just try and brake later and get him, but he's got the DRS. Nothing Hamilton can do. Hamilton also had DRS, I think, from a lap car, but he still just couldn't do much. So Lewis goes for it again, but this is not the right place to go for an overtake. On the final lap, George Russell glides over the line, barely able to finish. Lewis does the same thing. 1-2 for the second time in his career mode, and that is us back. We are now fighting Ferrari again. We are here, ready to take this championship fight to Ferrari and Red Bull.
I don't think anyone could be disappointed with a race like that. A consummate professional through and through.
We have checkered flag now.
Have to say, George Russell looked excellent out there.
What a brilliant race that was for the team. They just did everything right. The driver included, of course.
Oh, that's a wonderful scene. The team getting their first chance to congratulate their driver on a job well done. And right now it's the British driver who proudly takes his place on the podium.
And that's excellent, seeing both the team's drivers up there on the podium together.
Plenty of smiles for the cameras as the drivers can let off some steam here in Montreal. And as proceedings start to wind down here, what will Mercedes have made of this result, Karun?
I doubt they could be much happier. A win and a podium place. What a great way to round out the weekend.
And that's it for this weekend's F1 action here in Montreal.
Next time, the teams will be forging ahead at full throttle through the Styrian Forest. The Austrian Grand Prix is right around the corner.
George gets his 3rd win of the career mode. Lewis gets P2. I think that's George's 5th podium of the season, 4th podium of the season. And I know Lewis has 1 less than what George has. 4th podium, and Lewis has got 3. Yeah. George is 1 point behind Lewis. Next race is the Austrian Grand Prix. Is it? Yeah, it is. Austrian Grand Prix. I'll see you next time for the sprint race in the Styrian Mountains. Make sure Mega Gamer 888 on Twitch to watch it live. Yeah, we keep pushing. 32 points away from Red Bull now. That gap is more achievable. We just need to start winning more consistently and being more consistent. And we get a point in the DHL Fastest Pit Stop Award. This is really coming together as we get the rear wing design. So we're going to manufacture, well, we already emergency manufactured 2 during the weekend, but we'll normal manufacture another 2. As we're now doing, is this research on the rear wing? What is this? Rear wing, yeah, rear wing research. As Bono goes up to 91 rated, and Von Meadows goes up to 95 rated, and a rear wing manufacture is complete. But I was wondering if we could replace 89 rated Marcus Dudley with somebody a bit better and take away a Ferrari engineer. He'd have worked for Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes. Could you name anything more dreamy? GP, come to the Brackley based outfit and have as much money as you want. and have a signing bonus. Have all that shebang. Offer the contract. Let's get this done. Gotta sound like Nigel Farage. Let's get Brexit done. Contract accepted. Let's go. We are ready. He'll be here next season. 89. Yeah, he'll replace 89 rated Marcus Dudley, meaning everyone in the staff is over 90 rated. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitch, MegaGamer8888. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.